When people picture the Dominican Republic, they often imagine pristine beaches, all-inclusive resorts, and of course, bachata. But behind this picturesque destination lies something much more violent. For decades, the Dominican government has terrorized Haitians.
Make look Dominican Republic bad at the same day of independence, the 27th of 1844, where we declare our independence, and you're posting this video to make Dominicans look bad. Hey, my name is Kenneth World TV, and I am your host today. This is gonna be the other part of the truth that maybe this people that have different agendas, including this channel of AJ Plus, want to avoid though, because they don't know how actually Dominicans think and gather their information. So let's get into it, okay?
Of Haitian descent. It's beaten people, deported them, and even stripped them of their birthright citizenship. And it's gotten away with it. The Dominican government claims it's simply enforcing immigration laws.
Oh my God, this is so frustrating. First of all, everything that is going on with Haitians are because illegal immigration. If they don't have their paperwork done, and if they don't have their legal documentation, they're effed up. That's reality. Otherwise, there's a lot of laws, and every country has their rights to control their borders and their people. And this agenda maker of AG Plus just want to make us seem bad internationally. But luckily, I will clarify a lot of the disinformation of this video.
Racism, the discrimination in the Dominican Republic, you cannot talk about these two concepts without talk about anti-Haitian, because it's like they connect. A lot of people will say, oh no, I am not racist, but I don't want Haitian in my country.
So to clarify this, are also Chile, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Peru, my God, Trinidad and Tobago, and all this country racist because they don't want Haitians in their country. Also United States, because they don't want mass illegal immigration, because they want to control borders. That's what you're telling me. Because there's an extreme of that. If you are legal and I just drove you back to your country, I am the one that are just doing things badly. But this is about illegal immigration. You're just talking BS at this point. And that's one of the things that I want to clarify. AJ Plus, the Dominican Republic really hates Haitian. This is going to be another title though. The Haitians from AJ Plus hate the Dominican Republic.
The Dominican Republic's anti-Haitianism is so notorious that in 2022, the U.S. Embassy warned Black American travelers that they might be mistaken for Haitian migrants and wrongfully detained. See, Dominican identity has been built on anti-Haitianism and anti-Blackness.
This is incredible. This is incredible. Oh my God, that's so messed up, man. Like, you're telling me that actually the embassy did that because of what you're talking about, and not because the situation of immigration that has Dominican Republic in the moment. You are attacking exactly what majority of people are accusing other AA or African American supremacists in the United States, woo kings and shit. They never get the chance to take out of their minds. Like, they always need to talk about Dominicans.
Haitianism and anti-Blackness all the way back to before the Dominican Republic even existed.
It's not. It has been built of patriotism, nationalism, people that really cares about their country, intellectuals, people that are really good at baseball, basketball, people that want to give something to this nation, that they know that they have been flaws and bad things, cons and pros, but they always want to have people that being charged with respect, tolerance, love, and audacity. Because el tigueraje, which basically is being a mafia boss or whatever, I don't know how to translate that. It's the equivalent of being a guy that just wanted the best to their country. We don't have a perfect country, but we have a country. Haiti don't have a state. It's a failed state. it's not a fallen state, it's a failed state. They don't have anything there.
They used to teach us when the Christopher Columbus come to the
anything
island, they give our
local
indigenous
or that people can enjoy, because privately they have a lot of things.
people mirror, they take our gold. I used to say, I don't know what happened with the mirror that Christopher Columbus gave us, because we are not able to see ourselves.
Ana María Belke, let me tell you this in Spanish. Tú eres una lambona, porque lo primero es que tú estás hablando de la historia de República Dominicana. Tú no estás hablando de la historia de Haití. La historia de Haití comienza cuando los esclavos negros llegan a esa parte de la isla y comienzan a utilizar otros dialectos gracias a lo que estaban dentro de los piratas ingleses, y para que no lo entendieran comenzaron a hacer dialecto en francés. Y yo te estoy diciendo todo esto porque tú estás hablando desde una perspectiva racista, discriminatorio hacia la mezclatura del dominicano.
Because we are not able to see ourselves and see we are black.
The Dominican Republic and Haiti are actually neighboring countries on the same island.
Okay. That's incredible. That's incredible. You're saying the facts, right? Now I am black. So, as I'm a black citizen, not a mixed country that has literally 62 to 82% of mixture in their DNA, quote, by the one, which is the Organization of National Ethnicity in Dominican Republic. Everything that you said is just held accountable. You're just telling the whole truth. Am I right?
At the island of Hispaniola reveals a stark divide. Let's start in 1697. That's when France and Spain split the island after the 9 Years' War into San Domingue and Santo Domingo. The French side became the world's most profitable colony at the time, exporting sugar, coffee, and indigo. But those profits came at a cost. Plantation owners worked enslaved black people to death. It was so bad that in 1791, the people enslaved in San Domingue revolted and sparked the Haitian Revolution. Meanwhile, Santo Domingo wasn't that successful of a colony for the Spanish. It was less developed.
It's incredible. That's amazing. And this is one of the things that I want to applaud. But what is that is that the problem of Dominicans? Because in that same era of 1697 to 7050 or 7077, we have the division of Brunswick, which is 1777. We literally have our east part and you have your west part, which was from France, Spain. And we divide those parts to actually enhance and have different people located in those parts. But we were poor. We didn't have any resources because la España boba. And a lot of things that we actually were held in poverty for all this time. Poverty. All this time. So you're talking about that part and all the great things at the nation that has the west side, but you're not talking about Dominicans at all.
Things were still unfair, but not quite as brutal as next door.
Exactly.
In 1804, Saint Domingue won its independence from France, becoming the first free black republic. It renamed itself.
You're literally saying the truth.
Fast forward to 1822, Haiti, trying to protect itself from being invaded or colonized again, occupied the eastern part of the island, which had recently won independence from Spain. This is where the complicated relationship began. At first, some Dominicans were relieved at being free from European rule, but that didn't last long. During Haiti's 22-year occupation, it abolished slavery.
Degollamiento de Moca. Why are you avoiding the wars that we have in 1809? Why you are avoiding 1821 with our ephemeris independence that just lasts 2 months? Because Jose Núñez de Cáceres, which was one of the people that helped us to have our independence, and then Jean-Pierre Boyer take 22 years of slave Dominicans by their mandate. You don't talk about
22-year occupation, it abolished slavery, redistributed land, broke up the Catholic Church's power, and pushed for French to replace Spanish. In response, a secret society began plotting to break away from Haiti and form an independent Dominican state. And on February 27, 1844, Santo Domingo declared independence, rebranding itself as the Dominican Republic. So you see, by
Okay, so I want to
1844,
clarify this part because they talking that all of those things were positive. The only positive things there was the abolition of slavery. Otherwise, everything that you said right here is just BS. Again, why? Because all those things were affecting the economy, production, and actually development of the east side of the island.
In response, a secret society began plotting to break away from Haiti and form an independent Dominican state. And on February 27,
because we don't want
Santo Domingo
my God, plotting, guys, plotting. It's like they are like doing some sneaky shit, like I want to get a plot to like in secret. How plotting? It's literally the founding fathers of our independence. How disrespectful you can be. We don't talk like that about Jean-Pierre Boyer and all other people. At least majority of Dominicans, they don't give an F.
And on February 27, 1844, Santo Domingo declared independence, rebranding itself as the Dominican Republic. So you see, by 1844, you had two totally different countries sharing one island. Haiti, born from a slave revolt with a mostly black population and French-based Creole culture, and the Dominican Republic with a more mixed population and the Spanish language, founded by a secret society largely made up of white Dominican elites. Now, the
white
thing is,
Dominicans elite. I want to stop right there with the white Dominicans elite. Why I want to stop right there? So you are telling everyone that it's more important the liberation of an AA race rather than people that were literally enslaved 22 years by Haitians. You are transforming the narrative, looking like killing white or mixed people were good, but then when they want to liberate from black people or don't want to be slaved by them, were bad. What you don't want to talk is about geopolitical movement and politics, because it's gonna be really obvious that you are spreading an agenda.
Now, the thing is, this occupation left some deep scars. For Dominicans, it became a big part of their national identity, this idea of resisting Haitian control. It fueled a...
It's not. You're wrong. Because literally our really core is that we are proud to be Dominicans. You know how much Haitians are in Dominican Republic right now? Like, if I show you the statistics, you will say, hey, this is not a place that they hate Haitians, because they are a lot of them in Dominican Republic and nothing is happening. You know something really crazy? One of the things that I notice is how much help Dominican Republic has been held to specifically to Haiti, how much things that we just give away, how much services that we just brought to you guys, like hospitals, like services, like freaky every time that a Haitian women just get birth, we are like helping you guys. And that's how you respond with an AJ video saying that we are like all of this crap? My God, you're so grateful.
Lot of anti-Haitian sentiment and anti-blackness that still influences many aspects of Dominican society today.
You know, it's been so difficult to be Haitian in the Dominican Republic. Being called Haitian is borderline offensive in the sense that people are not saying it as a term of endearment or just to identify you as that is your ethnic descent. They're saying that in a pejorative way, right?
While anti-Haitian
you are talking BS again, and I respect you that you're a guy that graduating, I don't know, from some USF college. Ironically, I find it out, and it was really funny because also there were Truth, which is another content creator that she speaks the same kind of things. She misinformed as well as you, or indoctrinated by the left. But something that I want to clarify, it's, do you know about Felicumbe, Palito de Coco? Literally half of Arayanos, which are half Haitian, half Dominicans. I just want to let you know, because we have a lot of history and culture, and prior to the disaster that happened, to the earthquake, that we were the first people that help you guys when you need our help. First nation that helped Haiti. We got a lot of different transactions, economy, and different routes that we do just to help accountable for our history. There's pages that are saying that we are stealing gaga from Haitians, when in reality, we know that was inspired in Dominican Republic with the different mixtures of cultures. It's like you can be black sometimes, being Dominican, but sometimes not. The perfect example is Zoe Saldaña. You have so much disinformation in this video. And if you see the time when it was released, it was the 27th of February, the 27th of February. And I can tell you, it's really disrespectful.
Started during the occupation, it cemented itself during the dictatorship of Rafael Trujillo. Trujillo's regime, initially backed by the US,
but you're not talking about 1822, when Cesar Nicolás Penso wrote Cuentos Añejos, which one of those has one of the virgins. I remember the complete name. The virgins. I'm going to put the picture there when Haitian troops mass. You don't talk about that. You don't talk about all those crazy things that happen. And that's an historical register in order just to have the general context, because you're just telling things. And why are you talking about the Perder Hill massacre, but you're not talking about the contracts that happened before in 1936? Or you're not going to talk about 1929 and the conversations that have Trujillo with that president in that time, that they want to protect their border, they want to do the contract and politics contract. You don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about the whole context. Am I right?
Aggressively promoted a nationalist ideology known as Dominicanidad through the media and public speeches. The main goal? To create a clear distinction between Dominican and Haitian identities, often portraying Haiti as a threat to Dominican culture and values. The government rewrote Dominican history to portray Haitians as constant aggressors and a danger to the country's independence. Trujillo embedded hate against anything with African origins, not just Haitian. He promoted the idea of blanqueamiento, the whitening of the Dominican population.
Not true. He didn't promote that. He never say that word. If you investigate, and I got the sources though, and he never say that. When he was bringing people from different countries to solve the national debt. He brings Jewish people. He brought Jewish. He brought Spaniards. He brought Norwegians. He brought people from different places in Europe and the States and even China and even Asia to solve the national debt. That's why there's some parts, for example, Jarabacoa, that has a lot of Japanese people, and Bonao, that has a lot of Chinese as well.
He wore makeup to whiten his skin and went as far as relabeling many Dominicans of African descent Indio, which means Indian, to distance them.
Whiter his skin. It's crazy because, there's some correlation with retardation and people that talk about bleaching their skin. I'm not even saying that these guys are retards, but they have like 4 different historical sources that you can find out on YouTube about their story in Dominican Republic, and none of them says that he bleached his skin. So you're misinforming though.
Distance themselves from their blackness. Here's the kicker. Trujillo's grandmother was actually Haitian.
Here's the kicker. Did you know that her mom flew away because there was an invasion of mixed people in 1915? That's a kicker too. So they were killing people of different racial racial backgrounds and biases. Oh my God, that's a kicker.
Today, more than 45% of Dominicans still self-identify as Indio versus the 8% who identify as only Black. Even though it's
No, Dominicans identify as mixed. They always do. They always have been doing that with their different names. Lavadito, Jabao, I don't know, Morenito, Moreno, Indio, Blanquito, which Blanquito and white is not the same thing. The same thing. I can give you an example. And the people that are obsessed with race are actually usually not from Dominican
Though
Republic.
it's estimated more than 70% of Dominicans have African ancestry, the trends of blancamiento can still be seen today.
I am Dominican. I am Dominican of Haitian descent. A lot of people,
You are
Black,
not Dominican.
they don't understand my reality just because they believe.
I will give you the example. If you have one parent that is from Dominican Republic, you are a Dominican. Thanks for the 18th article of the Constitution of Dominican Republic. But unfortunately, the 11th article of the Haitian Constitution, rewrite in 2012, says that if you have one Haitian parent or two different Haitians parents, you can read it out here, you're automatically Haitian. You can't deny your nation. You can't deny where you're from. If you're from Haiti, be proud of it. Be happy. But please do not underwrite history because of your convenience and your victimhood rhetorical BS.
They are not Black. If foreign people see us, we don't look different. But between us, they teach us to see us as.
I had 25% of Blackness in me. That makes me Black? Generally, I question, that makes me Black because I look like an European guy though, but I'm Dominican. I should call myself Euro-Caribbean? Or maybe there's different ethnicities and different textures of people around the freaking island. Just let me know.
Has a difference. The difference could be in the tone of how Black I look, how dark is my skin complexion, or how I dress.
I look really Black though.
Racialization in the Dominican Republic, like the rest of Latin America, is layered and complicated.
In Latin America and the Caribbean, particularly Dominican Republic, what we have is people are racialized by their phenotype, right? So irrespective if you have even two Black parents, right, and they may be both dark skinned, if you come out light skinned, you can be categorized as a different racial category, where in the US, that would not be the case.
These assumptions about who's Dominican and who's Haitian wind up having major impacts on people's lives.
There are Dominicans who are dark skinned, who are indistinguishable from any other Black person from anywhere in the world. They often get confused as.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as unity when you have different people with different opinions and different background and biases. There's never going to be unity because that's the common goal. If you look up the most nationalist people in the Caribbean are actually Haitians. And that's really ironic. You know, even the criminal, this guy, Barbecue, he says that we Dominicans are not the bad ones. And he creates a lot of destabilization in their country. But it's because he created or it was they already. Who are really the problematic guy in this sentence, in this context? Think about it. Just think a little bit and just let me know in the comments.
As Haitians, sometimes even deported in mass raid, just like any other perceived illegal person would be, or undocumented rather.
While there's a wide range of appearances in both countries, darker skin, French-sounding last
I
name.
want to talk about indistinguishable. Indistinguished. I want to talk about that word because that sounds racist. I mean, if you're talking about two Black folks that majority of people that live in Haiti are Black, and then we have a mixed population, it is bad to ask, hey, can I see your ID identification? Because you look like a Haitian person. And it's because you have those registrations in your own history. You literally said in all your paperwork that you are black and proud, that you are the black nation, that you were liberated by the first nation that were black, which is false because the first one was in Mexico, but that's another video. So in that manner, you're just giving me the ick, bro.
And even hair texture can lead to individuals being perceived as Haitian, many times with dire consequences. The Dominican Republic deported more than
I don't live in denial and I'm not anti-black. Majority of people in Dominican Republic look black. They look black skin. That's true. But they are not Haitians because they want to refer Haitian as black, when in reality, blackness comes in different varieties too, in different categories. And they want to unify everyone in the same whole. And you can't do that. It's not possible. That's it.
250,000 Haitians in 2023. Thousands of children were separated from their families.
Tiene hambre, vete pa tu país.
Many of whom were detained in or near hospitals were deported back to Haiti. Yet,
Yep, same as there's almost 5.5 millions of Haitians in Dominican Republic. And the question is, if Dominican Republic is so problematic and so anti-Haitians, why they are in Dominican Republic taking resources from Dominican Republic and working in Dominican Republic? There should be a group of elites that want to portray or want to permit that. Am I right?
99% of Dominicans surveyed don't believe Haitians' human rights were violated, and it's been getting worse. The border didn't always look like this. It was once open and culturally blended, but dramatically transformed in the 1930s under the Trujillo regime. Trujillo implemented the racial profiling system we talked.
Yeah, it looks worse though. It was looking worse because Trujillo creates those parameters to control the mass immigration. Because remember, you have presidents, you have politicians and people in power that always want to go to Dominican Republic and invade. Timelines of the independence that brought by Dominican Republic and their people.
We talked about earlier, targeting individuals based on their skin color or perceived Haitian ancestry. This was part of his Dominicanization of the Frontier Project, which aimed at strengthening Dominican control over the border region and reducing Haitian influence. The 1937 Parsley Massacre was part of this push.
I want to get rid of that part because in reality, it's true. It was a big massacre. But I investigate and I find out that it wasn't necessarily the order by Trujillo. And also, this is like an agenda from the left-winning kind of like misinformation, whatever. The thing is, I think that they didn't kill that much people. It was like 1,900 people. And they bluff. They always exaggerate that number, like 20,000, 30,000. To make it feel, oh my God, it was a big thing. It was a big thing, but they also made movies about it. And I don't know who they are selling this movie to. Are they doing like victim blaming or like white guilt to some people that want to defend their country? I don't know.
Tens of thousands of Haitians were killed for not pronouncing parsley in Spanish, perejil, correctly. It was a test designed by the Dominican government to target Haitians. Surviving Haitians were driven out and towns were rebranded with Spanish names. While Haitian labor wasn't entirely cut off, it was strictly controlled through a recruitment-based bracero program for sugar plantations. Remember that for later. Today, the Dominican...
That medical care should be attended by Haitians, not by Dominicans. That's not our... We don't have the resources to take care of ourselves. Talk to French, man. Do that video to French, to the United States. Also to AJ Plus that actually have a lot of money because they're Muslims.
Dominican government is building a wall to keep Haitians out. In recent decades, a slew of anti-Haitian immigration and denationalization laws have been passed. In 2004, Migration Law 28504 revoked birthright citizenship from the children of foreigners in transit, a term that was redefined to include migrant workers, many of whom were Haitian. In 2013, Judgment 16813 stripped away birthright citizenship for all people born to foreign parents in the Dominican Republic between 1929 and 2010. More than 200,000 people of Haitian descent were left stateless. Many had their birth certificates.
I want to talk about the deportations because I discovered something crazy. So, you know that there's a lot of people that talk about, like, we have a lot of black folks, specifically from Haiti, just going to work, right? But something that they don't talk about is that you actually have, you can go out about that system. You can actually put those people working or doing sports or doing something different that will actually give profit to their families and not necessarily just going for those kind of workers. And you know something really weird that happened to me when I investigate that? They take off my video. So are they like sponsoring slavery again? Like slavery is something that still they're still doing that? And who are like sponsoring slavery?
Had their birth certificates canceled, so they couldn't get a cédula, which is like an ID. Without a cédula, some people can't enroll in school, get a job, or even open a bank account. And in 2022, Decree 668...
But you don't need to work in those plantations. You don't need to do it if you don't want to. That's one of the things that I always...
Decree 66822 set up a special police unit to go after foreign-born people living in the country without documentation. This unit mainly targets bateyes, which are settlements near sugarcane fields mostly lived in by Haitian workers.
You don't have to work there because there's have been a lot of accusations of those big companies that want to hold those Haitians workers inside of that field, inside of the working environment. You can always leave and you can always do something different, and you can have opportunities in something like sports, something about physics, something about agronomy, fishing. There's different kind of relatable resources that you can always work.
And their Dominican-born families.
How is it that folks can come into your house at 2 a.m, beat you up, take your stuff?
I am really, really agreeing this one with you. Like, you don't need to work in this field if you don't want to.
Take you across the border when you have your documentation, right? And there's no redress for you. There's no medical care you can take. Folks, in fact, are dying en route to being deported because a lot of the trucks are so packed with folks.
It's important to note that over 85% of migrants in the Dominican Republic were born in Haiti. So just on paper, any immigration law is going to
Yeah, that's because we want to protect our country and don't want to have a mass migration of Haitians that can lead to the Plan Caliergi that want to create the UN and all these big associations to transform our culture into another culture. And it's really interesting because at the same time, 2004, it was introduced to the reggaeton into those ages, 2000 to 2002, 2004, which was the same time that they want to introduce this kind of laws to protect our border and our country. And it's like, okay, so let me give you an example. This was the culture of the Dominican Republic in the 90s. And now this is the culture of the Dominican Republic. It's like a plan of changing people, culture, and differences step by step.
Proportionately affect Haitians and anyone who could be racially profiled as Haitian. While Dominican politicians often blame Haitians as a burden on the country's economy, the Dominican Republic relies heavily on cheap Haitian labor. This brings us back to...
Yeah. And I can explain that. I have the original document here. So if you have people that were born into Dominican Republic, right? And you have people that held and say, hey, I'm Dominican and I want my papers. Reality is that you have so much people that you will have also your carnet or cédula, but you will not be called Dominican because your own laws prohibit to being a Dominican citizen. So with this contract, this avoid having problems with their own constitution and actually regulates a little bit the mass immigration there is going on in Dominican
This brings us
Republic.
back to the batallas. Originally created for the Haitian braceros, these hyper-police communities often lack basic amenities like running water, reliable electricity, and adequate sanitation facilities. Activists
they are illegal immigrants. They're going to other places. They need to do the checkout because if they are illegal and they broken the laws, they need to see if they doing or they have their documents in check. Is that something out of the blue or what's going on? Sure, but talking about Marilene Paulino, which is from Haitian descent too. And she's a great, great, great example of how you have people that we held accountable and we don't attack them. And they from Haitian descent, from Abateye. And she's one of the biggest and proudest treasures in this country. We don't attack her, but that's a different thing because what is going on with this guy Sammy Sosa, it's really simple to explain. He just get problems of self-esteem and issues
that is often ignored and defended. From sports, like in the case of Dominican baseball player Sammy Sosa using a bleaching cream to significantly whiten his skin, to the popular joke,
I no black, negro nunca, nunca, I no.
when talking about how Dominicans view themselves. But the Dominican Republic isn't alone in its anti-blackness. In fact, it's part of a larger epidemic across Latin America.
Okay, so I want to learn more, right? When I finish the video, first thing that happened to me is Latin American whitening of Latin American, payment of freedom. I also have, I just reading this one, it's Bisam from Gaza. I'm finally going home. Why isn't the UN stopping Israel? Why the two-state solution never worked? I got also truth has cost. Why the Palestinian journalist risked his life. So, in conclusion, this is propaganda from the left, the extreme left that are progressive, but more deeply, it's propaganda held by people from the division state. Maybe Muslims, in this case, people from Asaera, that they came before in another interview, just kind of talking with our one of our representatives in Dominican Republic with in general economy, like in general, I don't remember his name, but she was talking to her and she says a lot of things that makes you wonder that it's propaganda. This page, it's propaganda itself. Everything that you see, and I'm so happy because majority of the comments in this video are being taken from Dominicans that are actually defending their country. It's beautiful to see that people just saw the BS, they saw the propaganda, they saw the disinformation in a mile. They just saw it. They just saw it. This is so great. And in the same day of Dominican independence, can you believe that? Can you believe that? Do you imagine that I just post? I'm going to talk directly to these people. I investigate a little bit about it. And majority of our pro-blackness, anti-blackness, anti-racist, anti-colorist, they have like this racial studies that Walsh, I think it's Matt Walsh, something like that. And if you see this movie, I want to make it free to everyone just saw this movie to understand what is going on. Thank you so much to watching my video. I hope that you get more informed for the whole truth. Take this video with a grain of salt. Take this video with a grain of salt. You just saw this video. Try to compound the two part of the reality. I will put all my sources, and I'm so happy that you take your time to see this video. If you want to see more content like this, just give me a thumbs up, and I will keep you bringing you the good stuff and put you more info about how actually Dominican Republic, it's being attacked all the time by Haitians, international press, and international organizations.
Muchísimas gracias por ver el video. Este video va dedicado a las personas que fallecieron en el jet set. Fueron más de 300 vidas perdidas en un tiempo lamentable. A la hora de yo hacer este video, esto había caído casualmente cerca, ya cuando estaba terminando de editar el video, y queremos hacer una memoria a esas almas. Muchas gracias.